How's it go? How's it go, everybody? This is your girl Nala Ife for IfeNation Live. Thank you so much for joining me in the live feed. If you're coming in or checking us out, if you're watching this once it is posted to our channel, make sure to thumbs up the video. Make sure to subscribe to our new channel, and also if you check the description box, you will see all of our other sister channels that we have. One being INNERELEMENTTAROT, that was our original home. This is now our new home that we're building up, and also the Red Reading Room. Shout out to my girl BB. I see you here in the chat. BB is our illustrious moderator, and thank you so much for even bringing this topic to me. So what we're coming here today to look over is to get the spiritual messages, or the much needed messages from spirit, right? As it relates to this newest virus that is, I believe, has been classified as by the WOW organization as an emergency, like a state of emergency, as it relates to healthcare. With the coronavirus, I'm just doing a little Google search really quick to get us up to date. The coronaviruses, which this particular coronavirus is a part of, are a group of viruses that cause diseases in mammals and birds. Okay. In humans, the virus causes respiratory infections, which are typically mild, including the common cold, but rare forms like SARS and MERS can be lethal. And I believe that's what the coronavirus that has been spoken about has been labeled to be more deadly, or to be as lethal, if not more lethal, than SARS and MERS. This is, and to be quite frank, this is MERS, MERS / or semicolon or / COV. Like other coronaviruses, this one is classified like a MERS or a SARS like version of the coronavirus. It's thought to spread from a infected person's respiratory secretions, such as through coughing. However, the precise ways the virus spreads are not currently well understood. Okay, so that obviously, causes some concern there. Okay, infected people have spread MERS COV to others in healthcare settings, such as hospitals. Okay, so this is definitely the just kind of a little bit of information from the CDC or cdc.gov. I recommend, before freaking out or throwing your frequency off, and this is for anyone who's concerned about it, to really first educate yourself. I think that the more and more one educates themselves about actually what's going on, one understands what puts a person at risk, and maybe some things that one can do physically, in your physicality, to either avoid or to strengthen one's immune system or immunology. Okay, so it's stated that this came from the wet markets. They call them wet markets in China, where it's kind of like a farmer's market, on steroids, is what I've been hearing about the wet markets, right? But they sell more than just obviously produce that you grow. There's also exotic meats and animal goods that are also being sold there. And an example of these type of exotic meats or animal byproducts would be the recent articles that have come out showing where people are drinking soups or having soups with bats in them. Okay, so I've seen that. I've seen even kind of weirder, delicacies across the world, but that doesn't necessarily mean, even though I'm not 100%, into maybe the way that the animals are being treated. However, that is another culture's custom. So I am a bit sensitive to that. However, with humans and animals and just our inner workings, we've been obviously handling what some would say exotic animals and that sort of thing for, I guess, as long as humans have been eating meat. So for something like this to come out, it doesn't surprise me. But my biggest question is, it really something that originated from these wet markets, or if this is something that obviously is was created in a controlled environment, and whatever other messages spirit wants to design. Okay, so we're going to get into this to see what it is for my subscribers, my watchers, and those who choose to watch this thereafter this is posted. What are the messages from spirit as it relates to this latest epidemic? Okay, that's what I was saying. The world, I believe World Health Organization or something of that nature has classified this as an epidemic. I believe that this is coming out of a certain province in China. And so there has been restrictions on travel from these countries to the U.S. or some other Western countries, because a person can contract the virus but not show any symptoms for 2 weeks thereafter. So it really brings us to, you know, a lot of concerns. And I believe the latest numbers are, I believe, 9,000 or 9,000 cases or something of that nature. So the way that the media shows it and the information that's being put out is that this is something that is spreading rapidly, and it's causing people to actually pass right out as they're, you know, if they're contracting it. It's almost as if they are unaware, because it can mask itself as a cold. Okay, so let's look at what the spiritual messages that are coming through as it relates to this. Hey there, BB, you said here, you said you would like to know if they will or should quarantine infected people. What about shutting down the airports? Is it man-made? Is the news or government making it less? Or all of those things. I would definitely thank you so much for those questions, because I think that that really helps us move the question and answers alone. Absolutely. So we will most definitely get into it. Let's look at the spiritual messages. Guides and spirit guides, ancestors, please help us translate and help us interpret your messages as it relates to the coronavirus for myself and for my audience. Okay. We have giving and receiving. Okay. So, all right, let's see what else we get here. We have crown chakra. All right. Giving and receiving and crown chakra. I want to make sure you guys can see that. Okay. Win or lose. And confront. Okay, so the biggest thing that I'm getting from spirit, okay, before I even flip the deck over to see what's at the bottom, you guys see what's at the bottom, well-deserved reward. Okay, so before I get into any other portion of the reading, the biggest thing that I'm hearing spirit say here is that irregardless to what, you don't ever have to get, if you stay ready, you don't ever have to get ready. Okay, so things of that nature is just like simple common sense things as it relates to this particular virus. The world is getting smaller, lots more travel. Okay, and oftentimes with these different environments, it's going to come back to one being making sure that one is the healthiest that they can be, that your immune system is always operating in its highest vibration. This is going to come from obviously when you are having a well-deserved reward. To me, this translates as good health. Okay, a person of good health. But what does good health consist of? It's more than just physical health. All right, it also is mental health. It's also emotional health. It's also spiritual health. Okay, one's vibration, by example of the crown chakra card being here, by one giving and receiving with themselves, their spirits, staying maintained, doing what your spirit is telling you. If your body hurts, finding out why you're hurting there, and building your body up, building your immune system up, taking the right herbs, taking the right having the right diet in your life, okay, having the right um uh, uh, stress levels, making sure that one is not living within overly stressful environments without a proper way of dealing with said stress, because stress also reduces the function of your immune system. Okay, so this talks about that. This is talking about having a meaningful life that has you have time in your life. You have time in the way that your life is set up for success, to meditate, okay, to become one with oneself, to receive messages from one's ancestors, to receive messages from one's higher self. Because those messages a lot of times have prescriptions in them for your health and for your life path, and being spiritually obedient to your energy. If you find that you're lethargic, getting to the bottom of why you're lethargic. If you're gaining weight, losing weight. If your skin is doing something that's odd, if you're noticing something going on with your feet, things of that nature, keeping yourself in is, it's a win. Like this says, win or lose, you have the right intentions on having a wholesome, healthy life overall, is what spirit's answer is to this. Okay, and that also means by raising one's frequency. Raising one's frequency has been shown scientifically, with meditation and being balanced, that there are studies where about a person who practices certain levels of spirituality, whether that be certain meditation, certain spiritual practices, uplifting one's spirit, it also shows it has a positive effect on one's immune system and in one's immunity to things. And you can see that by example of how people who are heavily guided spiritually, how they deal with stress in their life. Okay, how they deal with stress in their life. Do they act as though it's an invasion, that they got to get all of their cells and everything all worked up and out of balance to finally attack? Or do they handle things balanced wise? Okay, because by them being balanced, they're able to take more of what life has, the ups and downs, and they're able to make something out of it. Or better yet, they don't experience a lot of drops because they stay consistent and even keeled across the board, up and down. But it is something even keeled. Okay, they're saying that staying in this place, win or lose, will help you avoid this battle that may not even be something that you should concern yourself with spiritually, if you are in attunement. And when you're in attunement, again, mind you, this is not just you meditating and you continue to get to live without, obviously there's no consequence to one's actions. No, what I'm talking about is, if you are practicing balance in your life, okay, is you're going to eventually start to do things that are healthy for your body, because now you are ascending spiritually. Right, so spiritually you're going to seek wholesomeness in all of your areas of your life. You're going to make sure that emotionally you're balanced, mentally, physically. You will no longer want to ingest certain types of foods or certain types of diets, because you know that it doesn't serve your highest good. Okay, so that's kind of what spirit is telling me, for you guys for me and you, to confront anything within our mind state, the way we think, that then triggers us to live or behave in a way in which we're not balanced with our giving and receiving. We're receiving messages about what to do for ourselves to put ourselves in the best care that possible, but we're just hearing it. We're not actually doing anything with it. We're not contemplating on what that means for us. And that's where that crown chakra comes into play, using your head, but also having that divine intervention, and having divine intervention come in place because you're terroring for it, and to confront what the fears are, confront your health the way it is, confront it through whether that be naturopathy or Western medicine. But this is addressing the roots of what is going on with our own immunity. Okay, that could also help you with receiving this well-deserved reward. So really good health care. Good health care is essential, but it starts spiritually. It majorly starts spiritually, because again, when one is balanced mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything else tends to follow thereafter. Okay, you just may need some time. It may not be overnight, but there's things that you can adopt now for your health, not just in the now but in the future. Okay, because there are most definitely going to be more of these type of outbreaks that may come, and your vibration level is what's going to create a tuning fork within your soul and your spirit to have you move in ways that keep you, okay, instead of, being kept by the media. Okay, so let's get into some of these questions. So BB posed some really, really good questions here. If if they should or will quarantine and shut down airports. Let's see if that's something that we're going to see with this coronavirus. And what I'm concerned about, because I know that there are efforts already in China to do just that, and those are mass quarantines and shutting down certain airports. But let's see here in the U.S. if we will experience mass quarantines and airport shutdowns. We have the Ten of Swords. We have the Five of Pentacles. We have the King of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Pentacles, and we have the Knight of Swords. What I'm going to sit here and tell you is no. We're going to have a lot of communication that's going to come and tell us, how to, I guess, maintain our health. But we're really here kind of on our own in a little bit. Because what this looks like to me is that it does not make money for the government to do a shutdown as it relates to shutting down or quarantining large groups of people who may need to be quarantined. As you can see, the Five of Pentacles here. Oh, that's a great question, Amaris. I'm going to answer that for you. That's a great question. So they don't have the government, the U.S. government doesn't see it as being profitable for them to do so. It would be best to continue on as status quo and allow people with their individual health care to get the care. Okay, they're not going to shut down anything because that shuts down the dollar. It would be more profitable for people to have, to go and get into like a big worry, is what I'm being shown here, and run to their local CVS or Walgreens or Dwayne Reed, or, and stock up on flu and cold, and get your vitamins, your high price vitamins, to see your Western doctors, to feel in the hospitals. They know that it's a threat. They know that this is very much a threat here. Okay, they know that this right here can take lives, because with people not understanding how they are affected, they understand that this could really, really bring in this here. It is more of a money maker from the government standpoint than it is anything else. Okay, so this is a way for government to support their the big pharma companies that they are in bed with. So no, they will not be shutting down anything outside of what the World Health Organization states. That's about it. But no, there will not, most definitely not be a shutdown. They feel like information that's coming to you is what they should give you. Okay, they feel like if you follow the information, then you should be, you know, that's the best, is to make sure you're covered, make sure that you are doing all of these other things. But this is the thing about this virus: it is transmitted in the air. Okay, so it's air, it's biochemical. Okay, it's biochemical. So then that's going to bring us to some other great questions that are coming up here in the chat that I'm so happy to answer for you. Also too, what I would like to know real quick before I pull up this spread, since the spread is out: will airport employees, TSA, cleaning companies, biochemical companies that the airports hire or contract, will they up their ante on sterilizing and cleaning practices because of the coronavirus? Will we see an increase in their efforts to clean and sterilize these travel environments? So yeah, they said, bitch, you're on your own. they really did. Okay. So what you will notice is that there may be an increase in travel, like the tickets to travel via airplane, train, or bus. There may be that because of sanitation, prices will go up. So again, this is a money making thing. Okay, so this is existing to make money for these corporations. And listen, I am all for free market, but you may see an increase in face masks. You may see there are a lot more pharmacies inside of the airport, so you may see more Walgreens, Dwayne Reed's, that sort of thing, where you can get a prescription. You will see maybe gloves, things like that for sale. Okay, there may be government mandated things that may come into the for each traveler to have hand sanitizer. There may be like boards when you go and board an airplane, talking about there may be plane upgrades that you'll see. Like there may be an air sanitizer put into the air, like the airplane, like an air cleaner or something. Like I'm getting a buzzing in the back of my head. So something like that. Oxygen, things of that nature, oxygen cafes. Which, if you guys don't know, sometimes going to an oxygen cafe, or like they do vitamin drips, like IVs, they put vitamins in there, and then like you put the oxygen mask on, that raises one's frequency. Yes, because you're able to breathe in fresh oxygen, but it also invigorates the cells and it boosts the immune system. So you may see things like that that is then translated to the cost of travel. Okay, so everything is going to have a cost increase, from what we can see so far, assigned to it. Okay. All right. So BB asked a very critical question, because they state with the coronavirus that the coronavirus was created through the mishandling of animals or exotic animals from wet markets in China. But the question that BB posed here is if this virus was in fact created in a lab and is man-made. Okay, and to that I'm going to say this: viruses are just like cells, right? They evolve, right? Which BB, I know you already know the hands in on it. I'm just covering everything before I do the reading. So in a way, we saw just from what I was talking about earlier when I first started the broadcast, that this is a part of a species of viruses called the coronaviruses, which includes SARS and MERS. And this is actually MERS, MERS dash COV. So this is a version of a MERS virus. So this could be an evolution of a virus that was created, like biological warfare kind of thing. So then not only am I going to answer the question, was this man-made or was this an evolution of a man-made virus, but I'm going to also ask if this is in fact an attempt at biological warfare. Okay. because we got to remember where it took place and how it's affecting the people that it took place with, and what are those numbers, and what are the genetic differences. Okay, so that's also to come into question here. So let's look. Spirit guides, can you show us and help me translate whether this is a man-made disease or a man-made virus, upper respiratory illness? Three of Wands. So this right here tells me that it was shipped there. This is something that came in on ship. So it came in on ship is something that somebody was aware of the drop of this, and they were waiting over water. So there was someone who was waiting, or organization or persons or group or corporation that was waiting. It's almost like with this, someone's waiting with the three of staffs, but you see them waiting near the water, across the water. Okay, so someone was hip to this. Okay, it was almost like a message. So there were examples of this taking place. Somebody was concerned about the outbreak. They tried to, what I'm getting here, it was like almost like it was a matter of time before it took off. A matter of time. Okay, so let's get more into it. We see the Two of Cups here, some sort of agreement. I know that this traditionally is like Two of Cups is in relationship, but this could also state agreement of some sort. Okay, we have the Seven of Wands. Okay, so this right here, the way that this is pulling right here is that this was not man-made. The next question I'm going to have before I get into my interpretation, let me just go down a list. I see I have a couple of messages here. Okay, so this was not man-made, guys, but it is something that it almost, I'm going to tell you what the thought I'm getting. It's almost like a version of this could have already been taking place, and there was some sort of outbreak that didn't make the news, but people who were infected, or animals that were infected, were being transported from one place to another, and in efforts to try to keep hysteria down, nothing was said. They tried, like there was an effort to try to keep this from getting out of control, but no one could account for how fast it spread. But there was most definitely a person who knew about this, right? But didn't act on it, didn't they knew about it, they tried to cover it up, or tried to cover the source up of where this came from. So let me see here. Is this virus an evolution of a man-made virus? Let me ask that question just to go ahead and get confirmation one way or the other. Is this an evolution of a man-made virus? Spirit, is this an evolution of a man-made virus? We're getting other threes. Now we are getting the Three of Cups. Okay, Three of Cups. All right, so people were involved. Okay, people were involved. But let's look at how they were involved. Two of Swords. The Knight of Swords. Knights in air. Swords is definitely something coming through the air. Okay, the World card. And the Five of Wands. So this isn't this right here is not the evolution. This is definitely something that was not man-made, but it evolved. Okay, it evolved. It wasn't man-made. Was the evolution? And I got one more question as it relates to that particular line of questioning. I'm going to go answer more questions, of course, but this particular line of questioning, I got something else for it. Did man assist? Okay, let me do it this way. Was this virus Did this virus receive its evolution in a lab? Did this virus receive its evolution in a lab? Did this virus receive its evolution, or did it evolve in a laboratory? We have the Page of Cups. We have, again, someone knew about this. Someone foretold about this. There were warnings about this, possibly with the SARS virus. There were warnings about this. This almost makes me, and that's going to bring me to my next question. That's going to bring me to my next question. Okay, so this virus was assisted in its evolution in a laboratory. The form that we're seeing here was one that was it was cultured and played with and assisted in a laboratory. And the thing about it is, whoever did this is feeling very, very sick about this. Like, they didn't expect their studies. You know how we have tons of scientists, people who are doctors. They're medical doctors, but they don't work with patients. All they do is study. Those doctors that are, for instance, at the St. Jude Hospital, they are what is it called? I can't think of the name of it right now. It escapes me. But they are doctors. They are medical doctors, but they don't see someone. They are a research doctor. We have a research hospital here. That's where I went and contracted H1N1. Never had the flu in my life. Went up to the hospital for asthma, and boom. Okay, so there you go. All right. So this virus, the version that we see here, was assisted in a lab, but the origination of the virus was not something that was man-made in that sense. It could have came from poor health. It could be the evolution of a normal human virus that we normally can fight off, okay, without a vaccination. Just normal, things that happen in unclean environments, things eating food, living amongst animals, animals not clean, fecal matter, eating meats and things that we shouldn't eat, just, that sort of thing. So it wasn't man-made in a sense of someone man made it, and they like Pinky and the Brain, and they were rubbing their hands together and they just released it. That wasn't the way it was, but it evolved. It took a virus that actually has this effect on human beings, and it was tampered with to evolve in a way to where it would be this super bug like this. That most definitely was done in a laboratory. Okay, as you can see here, the magician is the ultimate alchemist. Okay, so it most definitely was evolved into a laboratory, which brings me to my next question. Was this virus, the current MERV-CoV, which is the coronavirus that's made the news, did this originate from Chinese wet markets? Did this truly come from the Chinese wet markets? Did this originate from the mishandling of animals in the Chinese wet markets? Okay. I'm being told to go with it. Okay. Okay. Right. We have the Strength card. We have the Hermit card. We have the Eight of Wands. It was the fastest way for it to spread. It was the fastest way. Oh my God. It was the fastest way for it to spread. Okay. All right. Were the animals, did this virus come in from infected animals? Did this virus come in from infected animals? It's called it's a zoo something. That's the name of it, like if it's a virus amongst animals. But I want to know, did it come in from the infected animals? Because this virus morphed. to be something that could transfer into human. That's why I said it doesn't feel like it originated from man-made, but it was the evolution was assisted, because then it's able to attach itself to other species outside of birds and animals. Okay, even though mammals, we're technically a mammal. Okay, but let's see here. Was this did this come in by the animals at the wet market? At the wet markets, did this come in from the animals at the wet markets? There we go with that Three of Cups. We got that Three of Cups again, multiple people's hands in it. Knight of Wands, Three of Wands again. We see what I'm saying? Someone waiting by the water, waiting by the docks, waiting by the shipments, sending something off, waiting for it to pop off. Okay, Seven of Swords. Look, 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 look. Page of Wands. Look at that fox. It wasn't, the virus was let loose at the wet markets, but the animals did not bring it in, because if the animals brought it in, we could say that the coronavirus was then, for instance, they sell fish there. They have live fish. So that would mean that the animals that were in the lakes in China, in the different provinces in the on the continent of China, or the continent of Asia, but the country China, it would say that those were affected. That all the animals were affected on the farms that they were bringing in. Okay, the animals in the jungle were infected. The animals out in the wild were infected. This was dropped off at the wet markets because there are so many thousands and thousands and thousands of people. It's like when you go to the Middle East, there are bazaars. It's like, it's the same difference if someone was to drop a virus off at the mall. You know how many thousands of people frequent a mall area? It's the same difference. Or were to drop off infected meats and produce in the grocery store. Okay, it was something that was physically introduced, that did not come in nor originate with the animals. Okay, but it was the fastest way to get it to spread to not just Chinese citizens, but even citizens that were not Chinese, but especially. Okay, so then that brings me to my next question. Was this a form of biological warfare? Is this a form of biological warfare? Is this a form of biological warfare? Because China is a superpower. Okay, let's understand that. Okay, a lot of us here in America, if we're in urban, if we're in the hood, if we're in urban neighborhoods, if we're not very educated on superpowers and what's happening with governments, okay, let it not be lost on you that someone knew what was going on. Okay, so, and not let it not be lost on you that we were talking about how we were going to bring in well, I'm going to leave that for the Trump files that we do. It's 3-part reading. It's not going to be based on Trump, but it's going to be based on the U.S. relations surrounding Trump and the death of the I believe it was the Iranian person of interest, okay, or dignitary. We're going to look at that, okay, but understand that this was something that people knew was going to pop off. And no, the animals that were being sold and that were being maybe slaughtered even to make sure the meat was fresh and the produce, no, it did not come in with that. The next question I have, just before I get into that, just to cover it, is this a form of biological warfare? Spirit guys, is this a form of biological warfare? Is this a form of biological warfare? Dropped on China. Is this a form of biological warfare? We have the Ten of Pentacles, generations. Generations. This is generations and legacy. Okay. The Two of Swords. Okay. We don't know who did it. It was almost designed so that we wouldn't, so that officials wouldn't know who ordered the drop. The Chinese would be in such of an uproar, right, that they wouldn't be able to tell where it came from. The world, biz. You see this? Do you see this? I mean, you can't make this shit up. The Lovers, it was most definitely a decision. You see those two snakes? And then it almost looks like a caduceus, like a medical. This is most definitely biological warfare. Okay? And it looks like it was brought in by the ocean. By the ocean, and multiple people were in agreement about this. China's a superpower. So, okay. Okay. This reading is taking a different type of turn. Let me check with y'all in the comments section. I believe that Amaris Cunningham, I believe I answered your question too. Is the news or government making it less important than it is, BB? Absolutely. 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 So let's go down here and see what we got here. BB says, because I have to do a regimen to keep from getting sick from others, but just wanted to know, like SARS or Ebola, exactly. Stock up on black seed oil. Absolutely, Amaris. Absolutely. That's for everyone and for me too. Okay. All what other things? Yes, the air is what makes me cringe. I stay with a face mask, gloves as well. We need air cleaners. Exactly. Exactly. BB says I needed to know if I should be ordering a bubble. Look, I I laughed with you, girl. I was like, does Amazon have human bubbles that I can just walk around in? Not sweatsuits, even though my ass could use a sweatsuit. I'm just saying though, I'm talking about for real, for real. But girl, we gotta be able to fight off things so we can't hide from it, you know. Amaris says here, must be, it's no coincidence. There's a movie about a virus in Hong Kong. Exactly. We find a lot of things comes through animation and film. A lot of stuff will come through film and people play it off like it's just entertainment when they're really dropping gems on you. They really dropping gems on you, letting you know it's a part of the spell. But if you're vibrating at a certain level, you're able to then decode what you're seeing in the movie, just like you can decode what's in the Bible, what's in the Quran, what's in the Kabbalah, just like you can decode what's on these cards. Like you can decode things that are happening, events that happen in the news. Why is it happening like this? Why do the numbers look this way? Why are the numbers adding up to this number? Why did it happen to this person? What age was this person? You know what I'm saying? That sort of thing. You're going to, if you start decoding things, you're going to start seeing what I call what is that, where you see 010101, you see that code, you'll start seeing code throughout everything, just like the Matrix, right? You'll start seeing the glitches in the system. Okay, just by vibrating on a certain frequency, like we saw in the beginning of this reading. Okay, so Amaris Cunningham says maybe the Russians. Okay, is BB says as the world turns. Okay, oh child, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's see if this if anyone from the from, let's see, let me, I gotta ask this question smartly. Okay, for those of you, you know what I'm saying, I am boss like, but I'm also a realist. Okay, so was this the handiwork of a major superpower? Let's lay it down like that and then build from there. Let's lay the foundation down like that and then build from there. Was this at the hands of a major superpower that is not China? Okay, was this a rival superpower that is responsible for this biological warfare with this coronavirus? You know, I just got a ding. Something just said the reason why the U.S. may not be making a big deal about it is because the U.S. has some antidotes. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it right there. I'm just gonna put that. I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm just gonna leave that right there. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that. I'm gonna just leave that over there. Okay, okay. All right. So was this the handiwork of a major superpower? Legacy. We saw this card already. We saw this card already. All right. The strength card. Justice. Bitch. The Fool. Okay. It was a major superpower. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was absolutely a major superpower. So this situation was unleashed on the country of China by a major superpower. Okay, the next question that I have here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's not, it ain't like we don't know. Okay. It ain't like we don't know. Okay. Is this an effort? Okay, I may have to take clips from this video, guys. So make sure you thumbs up. Make sure you share this. Make sure you post this also on your social media and follow me on all of my social media. I'm going to have to break this up too in pieces so that I can reference it, because we're getting to the bottom of a lot of shit right now. For my upcoming reading special, I was going to do the 3 parts that will be pre-recorded, but I may have to use bits and parts from this reading. Okay, was this drop with the coronavirus, was this also, okay, was this also a move made at the same time as the assassination of the Iranian official? Was this a drop that was also done at the same time in and around, or concerning also the assassination of the Iranian official? Is this somehow connected? We have the King of Pentacles, okay? We have the Star card. We have the Moon card. We have the King of Cups. There's that person who knows everything, but is tight-lipped, not saying a damn thing. And we have the Queen of Wands. So this is not a related situation to what happened with the Iranian situation, but I got something else, okay? This wasn't in connection to that. When I saw this Moon card, I saw Moon Station. I saw Space Station. I don't know why I felt like I've never thought about that with not just because this is the Moon card, but I think when I couple it with the stars in the moon, it feels like Space Station. The messages I'm getting, someone with Space Station, space exploration program. These look like little satellites. These moons right here look like little satellites. Okay. Okay. I'm going to ask the question plain and simple. I'm just going to ask. I don't have the code for it, but let's say it like this. I'll say it this way. Because it says across the water, okay? So it's not someone on the continent. Let's see here. Let me ask this. Did this warfare come from Russia? Was this Russia interference in China's health? Because I'm telling you, I'm just saying. Did this originate? Was this an act of warfare from Russia? I don't believe so. But my cards, they sometimes speak separate from what I believe at times. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Okay, I need 3 more shuffles. 1. I don't feel like it was the Russians, guys. But I'm just gonna go ahead and ask the question on air. Okay, we have the 7 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, the 3 of Cups, the 4 of Pentacles. I didn't feel like it was Russia, but it's somebody Russia's in bed with. It's somebody's Russia is in bed with. Okay, okay, okay. Empress says here, why the hell China? They know that shit was spread everywhere, including their country. The fuck? You won't get this info anywhere else, girl. I'm telling you. This was not the Russians. And you're right, because China is a superpower. What they make in their products and services go all over the world because they're able to manufacture things at a low rate. But this was not Russia. This was not Russia. I'm going to, you know what? It's some things I am feeling right now that I want to leave for when I do the Trump documents, the reading for that. Um, I also don't feel that this was a move approved by Trump. It was independent to the administration, Trump's administration. Did Trump have anything to do with the biological warfare? I just want to rule it out. I don't feel that he does. Y'all remember that even the highest of dictators, presidents, and kings and queens, they work for someone else. Okay? Okay. Okay. And I'm just getting hit with so much information, but I just don't want to release it just yet. But I won't have no other choice but to. But let's see here. Okay, there's the Emperor. Trump is an Aries moon sign and Leo rising, or he's a Leo moon with an Aries rising. And I see the Emperor for Scorpio and also Aries. Okay. Aries primarily, then Scorpio, but whenever I see the Emperor, I associate that with that. Okay. So the Emperor, this doesn't mean it's Trump, it just says the Emperor. So a male. Whoo, child, I just got a download out this world. Okay. Okay, bitch. Okay. 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 Trump knows about it. Trump knew about it. Trump advised against it. Trump knows about it, but Trump didn't want to have anything to do with it. He knew about it. Almost like he didn't want to have his hands, you know, the whole thing about him having small hands or wasn't it, whatever. Okay. What I was feeling is that if he knew about it, he didn't give the authorization for the drop. That's how I'm feeling this. But he very well knew about the virus, what it would do, how it would move. But I think what backfired is the fact that there are cases in the US. And that's what he wasn't prepared for. And he would definitely defend. It's almost to what I'm getting here is that he's going to send resources to China, because that's sometimes how your enemies move. The person who sent something out on you will sometimes be the first one to offer help. Just like they say, the people who murder people or like serial killers or psychopaths, they will help with finding the missing person, even though they are the one who's responsible for the missing person, to seem normal. Okay, I'm not saying it for everyone to be all paranoid, but what I'm getting here is that Trump will defend like this because there's nothing that I think links him to it. But for the Emperor, I just really did not believe that he like pulled the lever. Oh my God. Okay. Spirit, what am I supposed to do with this? Because it just feels like there will be resources, or he will try to help in the efforts by maybe having the CDC, or you know, someone who's in the U.S. Department of Health release maybe some case studies and vaccinations to China to help with the citizens who are, you know, are suffering from this disorder, you know, that sort of thing. Bitch, what? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, like I feel as though he knew about it, but I don't think he, like, my instinct tells me that he knew about it, but he didn't pull the lever. Like, even though he knew about it, he was going to, like, it would be one of our biological warfare. Like, it would be something like that. Like, this was released, like, the way that it was going to be done is that we have this virus, right? But if we had to shut down another country, we already have a cure for it here. So if it did make it to U.S. shores, we're able to ensure that the majority of the citizens in the U.S. are not affected by it. But anyone else, we would lay their ass the fuck out. I wasn't supposed to cuss in this. Sorry. Okay? But that's what this looks like. Okay? Y'all, are you serious right now? Okay, like, this was released before it was supposed to be released. Normally, countries will test certain things out on their own citizens. I know that that's horrible, but they will test it out on their own citizens and provide immediate vaccinations to see how something works, like a component of how it works, before they actually use it for biological warfare. So he knows about it. Let me see something. I got another question. And if you guys have more questions, please put that in the while we live. If you have more questions, please place that. This is cray cray. Okay. So what I have a question about here. Well, if Trump knew about it, is the US responsible for the release of the virus? I just need to go ahead and get a yes or no. Is the U.S. responsible for the releasing of the virus? Because I saw over water, someone knowing that something was coming. Is the U.S. responsible for the release of the virus? Well, yeah. Okay. I'm going to say this right here. The U.S. there are components in the U.S. that knew about this. Okay. There are officials in our government that knew about it. Okay. That knew about it. They didn't know of its impact. Okay. And this was a defense mechanism. Okay. Was this a defense mechanism because China could possibly become a adversary if World War III breaks out? Was this like a precursor to take China down so that they don't have the manpower to fight if this were to turn into if we were to enter into World War III? Call me Nala Nostradamus in this bitch, okay? Call me Nala Nostradamus in this bitch. Y'all see that world card right here? It wasn't that. It was financial. It was financial. It's financial. It didn't have anything. It's going to result in that, though. Remember, if you follow my channel, Inner Element Tarot, I told you guys that there was going to be a shift in our matrix, in our dimension, to shift the war out of another dimension and bring that into this dimension. If you don't follow my other channels and you're not on that stuff, listen, I'm not going to go into it. My people already know my weird self. They already know what time I'm on, okay? If you are not subscribed to that channel, I suggest you check the description box and go over there and show your girl some love, because that's where I do my updates in my community board. What I'm seeing here is that it was not related, even though this is happiness, it is security, it was money related. It has something to do with money. It has something to do with trade, okay? It has something to do with the dollar. The US dollar, okay? It has something to do with long-term money. The Knight of Pentacles is long-term money. But this may be the action that actually spurs China to become an adversary, okay? And I'm going to do this as a little bit of a preview. let me, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to switch it up. Unless you guys have more questions, I'm going to end this portion of it, and I'm going to get another message from Spirit. I'm going to end the tarot portion of it. Okay. Unless you have more questions you would like me to answer. But yeah, Emerus Cunningham said 111. Okay. They're lining it up. The U.S. tried to line China ass up, honey. They tried to line the China, ooh-wee. This is going to be a very, very spicy three-part Trump and U.S. relations reading that we got coming up. Very spicy. Very spicy. Okay. So let's look at this. Will this epidemic be the catalyst that causes China to be a serious adversary in World War III? Is this going to be the catalyst? We have the Four of Pentacles. They are looking over their financials. The Seven of Swords. We have the Hermit card. So someone's going to find out exactly who was involved, okay? When you see the Hermit card, this means looking deeply. This is normally ruled by Virgo, looking at the details, looking at how everything is aiming. They have a mole in the Chinese, whoever the government, they're looking for moles, people who were giving information out, who were implants into any type of secret service that the Chinese government has. So they're going to be, yeah, this is going to be the catalyst, guys. All right. And the fact that they're losing out financially. They're out, yeah. This is a catalyst. This is a catalyst. Because the goal was to bring them down financially so that they would not be able to hold. It's something dealing with debt. It's something dealing with debt, unpaid debts, or something of that nature. This is stuff that doesn't make it to the news, that we do not see with the U.S. relations and the Chinese authorities in the Chinese relations. Okay. So this was to make them out in the cold. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Go into that Five of Pentacles. Go into that five. Cut into this. What is this? Who and why is that five? Why and who is it the Five of Pentacles is speaking about here for clarification? Okay. It was almost like to knock them off of their superpower, to keep them from being a viable opponent, to drain them financially, and for that to come out. Okay. It may be secrets, like once things are found out, is to show them just how vulnerable that they are. Okay. Yeah, it was to bring death. The war is already here. Okay. It was to make them give up all their efforts. Okay. King of Swords. It was a strategic move, bitch. That's what this was about. That's what all of this is ultimately about. It was to disarm the Chinese. And the way because there's so many billions of people there, the way that it was done was to cause neurological damage to the lungs and to the breathing, because whenever you contract one of these type of viruses, once you get healed from the virus, that's great and dandy, but it also has other effects on the nervous system. Okay, that a lot of people don't know. H1N1, for instance, can affect the person up to 6 or 7 years after contracting it. Okay, because it's just like with anything that's working on the nerves. Okay, it can download things into the person's. People have been known to catch the flu or catch SARS and develop other neurological disorders. because of the infection in the virus itself and how it works. Okay, so that's why I said it's definitely going to be a push to going higher vibrational. Now I'm going to pull from this deck here. I'm going to be closing this reading out. I may do a second part to this, but just in case you guys are interested in the oracle that I'm using right here, I'm using the Everyday Witch Oracle. This is a play off of the Everyday Witch Tarot. Okay, and when I first opened this reading, I was utilizing the Psychic Tarot for the heart. Okay, and for those of you who are interested in this particular deck, this is the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot. All right, so and this is the golden tarot. Okay, so I like to tell everyone, people who follow along with me, so that way you can help yourself if you are a budding tarot reader or tarot enthusiast. All right, so what are the messages from spirit about how one can metaphysically or with using the occult protect themselves from these actions that are widespread? What are some witchy practical applications that one can work with? Something just came to me is to work with the element air, but also work with the element earth, because air and earth being your body, okay, air being the actual air that fills your lungs, your upper respiratory, but there's something else that could come out too. Okay, breaking down the food, that would be fire, and also water can be, staying hydrated. But those are just practical things. But let's look at the occult messages. All right, and I'm going to read you guys what this states. Okay, all right, okay. And what this states here is learn from life. Okay, bis? Learn from life. Okay, and at the bottom of the deck we have prayers and wishes. Okay, prayers and wishes. Okay, the first thing I'm getting here is drinking water. Okay, making sure you are probably drinking from good high pH filter. I don't drink tap water or faucet water. I drink from a filter, a filtration that is called a Berkey filter, and so its job is to raise the pH in the water, so the water is softer and is sweeter, and it's more alkaline. So we've had that for years. I don't drink from the faucet whatsoever. So let's read what this is. Okay, let's read what this states here. This was a very good informative reading. I know it's a little bit long, but considering what we're reading on and in the way that the reading turned, it is what it is. All right. So learn from life. Okay. This is the learning from life. This ties into the original message that I gave at the beginning of the reading. Okay. Learn from life. It says someone once said that those who do not learn from their mistakes are doomed to repeat them. Have you been learning as you move through life, or are you still doing the same thing over and over again and wondering why your situation hasn't changed? There are many different ways to learn: books, experience, the wisdom of others. But if you want to become your own best self, it is important to keep learning from life's lessons, large and small. What have you learned today? The action behind this particular card states, make an effort to learn something new today. You can try something different and see what happens. Do some research or read a bit in a book by one of your favorite authors. Or you could talk to someone who has had experiences you haven't and ask them about it. Okay. The hint would be older people may know a lot of things you don't. Maybe talk to a parent, grandparent, community elder. This could be talking to, as it relates to your health, you can talk to a metaphysician, an occultist that deals with herbs or herbalist, herbologist. You can talk to someone who does homeopathic medicine, where they are a traditional doctor, but they incorporate homeopathic things. You can talk to people like that to get yourself balanced, right? And not just with health concerns, the whole 360 degrees, what makes you who you are. Okay. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is the action is to make an effort to learn. The divination states here, the card suggests that maybe you need to be paying more attention to the lessons the universe is sending you. Get your intuition up, boo boo. All right. Is there something you should be doing differently but aren't because you haven't learned from your mistakes? Or is there some way you could be improving your life if only you were willing to expand your knowledge? Make sure that you are embracing life and experiencing it fully. And you know what I'm getting from this? You know how the natives here in this country were taken down by viruses and bugs called the smallpox. We haven't learned from our history. We're still doing the same thing to conquer lands. And that's where the fall is, because I'm getting that we're not learning from life. We're not learning how those things backfire. Okay. So that's going to create another conversation that we'll have possibly on our channel, Inner Element Tarot. So if you want to go deeper into more occult and esoteric talk, make sure that you join up and subscribe to that channel. Okay. And one last thing, as it relates to magic. Okay. The first one was action. The second one was divination. And the third is magic. Okay. This states sometimes we need help and figuring out what the lesson is that we are supposed to be taking away from a particular situation or challenge, especially if strong emotions are involved. We talked about this, guys, working on the emotional response to make sure that if we are easily triggered, we learn to come out of that so that we can continue to raise our frequencies. Okay. Sit in front of a yellow or white candle. All right. If you want, you can put a book next to the candle to symbolize knowledge. Light the candle and say, God and Goddess, please help me to learn from life as fully and as gracefully as possible. Okay. So, all right. This is something that by being balanced, this goes back to what I stated in the beginning of the reading. Okay. Learning from the past and safeguarding yourself with knowledge, okay, and application of that knowledge is your greatest defense from any weapon that is formed against you. Okay, it's truly being a student of what has happened, and from there making the right choices going forward to protect yourself and align yourself with the best frequency and vibration that suits your life's purpose. Okay, so that's what we got, guys. There's a lot of information we got out of this reading that's going to be a great guide for the Trump documents or series that we're going to be pushing here in the next week or so. I think I'm gonna schedule that. It's not going to be live, but the question and answer, if you guys are interested, will be live on Inner Element Tarot to go back over what was found in the readings. Okay, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this reading, that you were able to not only get the interpretations but able to develop your own interpretation of the information that was released. Okay, again, this is for entertainment purposes. However, there are some things here that you may be able to apply and do your own research and allow your spirit to lead you to the best answer possible. This is your girl Nala Ife signing off for IfeNation Live. I will see you guys here soon for the monthly horoscopes that are going to be for February for all 12 zodiac signs. We're going to be starting with Aquarius. Okay, if you would like to book a personal reading for your individual questions and concerns, check out the description box. You see a list of all of the services we offer, and you can email me for pricing and we can get you guys booked up. Okay, I love you guys. I hope that this was informative for you and it gave you some answers and some clarity on things that you already thought or some things that you hadn't considered. Okay, peace, everybody. Bye. You're welcome, BB. Thank you so much for everyone showing up. Bye-bye.